Chet Holmgren has finally spoken out about the truth behind the Josh Giddey trade, his personal feelings and beliefs behind it as well. Also speaking on what he hopes and thinks Alex Caruso is going to bring to this Oklahoma City Thunder squad coming up this next season, as there's a lot of hype surrounding around Caruso. However, I have seen that there is doubt about, was this really the right move to go ahead and trade Josh Giddey, who's still young. It was only his third season in the NBA, I get it. But was this really the right move? A lot of people are still discussing that, so we're going to discuss it again here on the video. We've already talked about it before. But with Chet Holmgren finally talking about the situation scenario now, I think it brings in, not necessarily a new light, however, a new perspective on how we can look at it, because even a bunch of the NBA players know, a bunch of the Thunder players also know, including Chet Holmgren, that this is a business. At the end of the day, you're not always going to stay on the same team that you want to, that drafted you to start off. And the Oklahoma City Thunder wanted to keep Giddey. However, it ended up not working out. Before you get all that, though, I want to take a moment and recognize that just under 10% of you guys do not have that bell notification turned on. If you guys don't want to miss a single minute of the action here on Thunder Digest and be alerted when a new video pops up on the channel, go ahead, hit that bell notification button. And if you guys are new to the channel, or if you found yourself coming back on a regular basis, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into what Chet Holmgren had to say, as it was a little bit. It was on the whole, podcast P thing, the podcast with Paul George. I have my own thoughts about that as well. I'm not a big fan of it. Just personally, I'm not. I've never bought into the hype behind that podcast. But it is nice because it gave us a ton of content that we can use for the next few days. So I do appreciate Paul George and his podcast for that. It's just, I haven't ever been the biggest fan. I can't explain it. I just never have. I've never really enjoyed the podcast. We'll go ahead and get into this article that was written by Ryland Stiles, kind of summarizing, what was said there. Despite the obvious on-court improvement for all parties involved, it is still an emotional period for the Thunder roster. As center Chet Holmgren revealed on Paul George's podcast Monday, I was blank. You guys can fill in that right there. Hurt when I saw that Giddey wasn't going to be on our team anymore. We all rock with him. That's our dog. Still is. He's going to go do great things in Chicago, Holmgren explained. The Thunder will get to see their old pal again soon, with Game 2 of the season taking place in Chicago as the Bulls host Oklahoma City. That game will surely produce funny post-game moments as Giddey is reunited with the Thunder's cast of characters. I do got to agree with Chet there. I do think Giddey is going to be very successful for the Bulls. I feel like he's going to be their point guard of the future. I feel like they're going to try to make it a point to lock him down. I think them trading for a point guard of Giddey's caliber has shown that they are moving on and away from Lonzo Ball because of all the injuries, and they might see Josh Giddey as a better player than Lonzo Ball. I do think it's close. I would give the edge to Josh Giddey for sure. It is close, though. It is a close comparison when Lonzo Ball is healthy. That's the question with him, though. When is he healthy? All right? I do think they have a good thing going on in Chicago with Kobe White and Josh Giddey. I think that is a good duo to have to build up for the future. You also have Matas over there, all right? A great young guy for that program. So they have the foundation laid out there. So it ended up working out for them. It's just, I think it needed to happen is the thing. I truly believe that trade needed to happen. We needed we needed a three-point shooter, a guy on the team, and we clearly wanted to improve on defense as well. That's why we got Alex Caruso. Even if he doesn't start, he will play in that role that Giddey, wasn't really fulfilling. Because the improvement of everyone on the team, Giddey got left behind the dust, behind everyone else, and he wasn't improving how he should have been. He wasn't on the same path that we thought he was originally going to be on when he got drafted by the Thunder. We thought he was going to be our point guard of the future, Shai being our shooting guard of the future as well, and then when we got Chet, he was going to be our center of the future. That was the original trio. With the explosion of Jalen Williams, though, and Chet Holmgren being hurt for that first season, finally coming back, and him being an instant impact in his second season, it just left Giddey in a place where he can't fulfill his role as a true playmaker and pass-first guy, the person that's going to be handling the rock majority of the time. Because that was then put on Shai because he emerged as an MVP candidate. Everyone else was just progressing faster than what we could have ever, projected. Giddey was on path. He was on the path that we set out for him. He was, improving at the rate we had expected. That was just the problem with it. Everyone else is just improving at such a high rate. Giddey just got left behind, and that was it. All right. Now, however, Chet Holmgren did talk about how it is exciting to play with Caruso. As he said here, he makes shots. He always makes winning plays, makes the right plays. That's the type of dude you want to play with. It's going to be fun playing with him. And it's not a dig at Josh Giddey at all. I saw a little bit of discourse going on Twitter surrounding what he said there. It wasn't a diss at Giddey at all. Caruso's just that guy. He's going to give it 110% out there on the court. It reminds me a lot of Lou Dort. He's going to make the right play. He's going to make, the hustle winning play there. And he really is a good three-point shooter. Don't let the career averages tell you otherwise. He did have a career year last season. Yes, he did. Three-point shooting-wise, sure, he hasn't shot at high volume, maybe 3 a game in his career. Don't let that fool you. He's at least knocking down 40% of his shots. Just keep that in mind. 40% of his three-pointers, we will take that. Okay, especially from a 3-and-D guy that we need in that Josh Giddey position that he couldn't quite fulfill. We need that. And yes, I will compare the stats a little bit. I will. We'll go ahead and bring them up and compare them. Josh Giddey last year, it was a down year. I will admit that. It was. Field goal percentage-wise and three-point shooting-wise, he did get better. I will acknowledge that. Everything else, he went downhill. I think some of the reason, and I don't have the exact stats on how many field goals he attempted a game. I don't have that number up right now. I probably should have, but you guys can let me know down in the comment section below. If I had to guess, the reason those numbers are so high is probably because he wasn't the second option anymore, so he wasn't taking as many shots. He was the fourth, even at sometimes the fifth option when he was in that starting 5. So, of course, he's not going to take as many shots, so his field goal numbers will be higher. He did improve three-point wise, which just seeing that three-point percentage increase is nice to see. Just right under 34% right there. Field goal percentage right at 47. And points per game, it just would have been nice to see it higher. I just know he wasn't taking as many shots a game. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. So that's why those numbers were down. However, I would have expected his assist numbers to be higher. But then again, when you go back and watch how he played throughout the season, he wasn't playing how he needs to if he wants to be successful, and he will be in Chicago. He needs to be that primary ball handler and the true point guard there on a team. Oklahoma City, we decided to roll with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's a great decision as well. He's an MVP type of player. Josh Giddey has all-star potential. He truly does, just not in the Thunder system now. However, when you look at Alex Caruso, he is the embodiment of what we need in that last spot. 3-and-D, he is a high three-point shooter, just right at 41%, 47% from the field, so same number or around there as Josh Giddey right there. And they're probably taking the same amount of shots a game as well. 10 points a game, 3.8 boards, 3.5 assists. Defensively, he's there. He's like 1 of 9 players, I'm pretty sure, that averaged a block and a steal a game last year, if I'm not mistaken. I know there weren't many guys that averaged it in the qualified games. So it's nice to see that. And yes, the age is a factor. You look at it. Josh Giddey's 21. Alex Caruso is 30. All right? So the age is a factor. We needed someone, though, on this team that was older, a veteran presence, and has experience playing in the finals. I want to make sure we know how important that is. We needed someone that had experience playing in the finals and actually won it all. That brings a ton to the floor for a late game composure, along with the postseason as well, when you have that guy on the floor. Because I do think he will be a part of the closing lineups. I think our closing lineup will be Shai, Caruso, Dub, Chet, and Hartenstein. I think our starting lineup, you flip Caruso out there and have Dort in there. I feel like Dort brings more value as a starter. I think Caruso brings more value in that closing lineup coming off the bench. You can go ahead, argue with me, debate it in the comment section below. Let me know that down there. It's just I feel like that's the best scenario right there. And Caruso fits into what we need there. 3-and-D guy, like I've been saying. Josh Giddey, he just isn't a 3-and-D guy. He's a playmaker. He's a true point guard. He really is. So he just wasn't going to fit into the system. He wasn't. At the end of the day, the system evolved to where he no longer fit into it. Originally, it was being built to fit it into him. All right, him be the primary ball handler and facilitator. Just with how we've progressed with a bunch of our other players, it never really worked out to be there. We're like, okay, everyone's going to create their own opportunities, either with the ball, dribble it for 10, 12 seconds. If it's not open, find the cutting man. Move without the ball. And Giddey just doesn't move very well without the ball. which he needed to learn if he wanted to stay here. It just never worked out for him. That's my whole 2 cents on that, along with what Chet Holmgren had to say, because yes, it does hurt still that Giddey is no longer a part of this team, because I do think he has potential to be really good. I think he has all-star potential in there. It just wasn't going to be realized on Oklahoma City, unfortunately. That's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys personally think about the situation down below in the comment section. I know one of you guys is already going to be there arguing why Giddey should have been here. I can't wait to see that comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.